Good morning, students. Welcome to economics class. Today, we are going to discuss the relationship between GDP and welfare. GDP stands for gross domestic product. It is generally believed that GDP is an indicator of welfare. The welfare of the people of a country can be understood by considering GDP of that country. How is it possible? When GDP increases, more goods and services are available in the country so that the people of that country can be able to enjoy the goods and services. Increase the goods and services. If people are able to enjoy more and more goods and services, definitely the welfare of the people increases. So this is how GDP and welfare are related. This is how GDP is considered as indicator of economic welfare or economic growth. Right? So when GDP increases, when national income of a country increases, when per capita income of a country increases, it is believed that the welfare of the people also increases. The economic growth also increases. Right? And that is why GDP or per capita income, national income, per capita GDP, etc. are considered as indicators of welfare and economic growth. Okay. So GDP stands for gross domestic product. We have already studied the meaning of GDP. The money value of all final goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country in a year is called GDP. Once again, the market value or the money value or the gross value of all final goods and services produced in a country in a year is called GDP. So GDP stands for the production of final goods and services within the domestic territory of a country. Right? If the production of goods and services of a country increases every year, that means the economic growth is increasing, welfare is increasing, right? But GDP is not a good indicator of welfare. GDP is not a good indicator of welfare of the people of a country. GDP has various limitations. We cannot trust GDP as the best indicator of welfare of the people. GDP has various limitations to be considered as indicator of welfare. Let us analyze what are the limitations of GDP as an indicator of economic welfare, right? Firstly, distribution of GDP. Distribution of GDP. GDP does not consider how it is distributed among the people of a country. GDP means the total income of a country. Right? It is only a monetary measurement. That monetary measurement does not consider how income is distributed among the people. Actually, in a country, there is concentration of income in the hands of a few people. So, such people can enjoy very high standard of living. The people who earn a lower income cannot enjoy a good standard of life. So, if the income of a country, if the GDP of a country is unequally distributed, how can we say that it is a good indicator of welfare? Welfare can be ensured if income is equally distributed. If income is equally distributed, all people can enjoy good standard of living. But if income is not equally distributed, all cannot enjoy good standard of living. So that GDP is not a good indicator of human welfare. If there is economic inequality in a country, even though the GDP increases, it does not ensure welfare. It shows the welfare or well-being of the rich people. It does not take into account the welfare of the poor people. Understands? So that GDP is not a good indicator of human welfare. Okay. What is the limitation? Limitation is that GDP does not take into account distribution of income. It does not take into account income disparity or income inequality. Clear? Now, the second limitation of GDP as an indicator of economic growth and welfare is composition of GDP. Composition of GDP. We know that GDP is the value of all final goods and services produced in a country in a year, right? What type of final goods and services? Are they merit goods or demerit goods? Merit goods are those goods which are beneficial to the society and the people. Demerit goods are those goods which are harmful to the society and the people. GDP only shows the value of goods and services produced. It does not take into account whether the goods are beneficial to the people, whether the goods are not beneficial to the people. Such considerations cannot be found in GDP. If a country is producing large amount of demerit goods, how it ensures welfare of the people? Demerit goods. Demerit goods include cigarettes, liquor, drugs, right? So the production of such harmful goods, the production of such demerit goods does not bring welfare to the people. Instead, they are very harmful to the health of the people. They are very harmful to the well-being of the people. But GDP does not consider whether the goods produced are merit or demerit, right? And that is why GDP is not a good indicator of welfare. GDP is composed by merit goods and demerit goods, right? If the quantity of merit good increases, for example, nutritional food grains, education, health facilities, right? If they increase, if the production of such goods and services increases, then we can say that no, there is welfare. Whereas, if the production of weapons, the production of liquor, the production of cigarettes, etc. increase, how can we say it brings welfare to the people, right? So, GDP is not a good indicator of human welfare. Okay. Then, the third limitation of GDP as an indicator of welfare is externality. Externality. GDP or national income or per capita income does not consider externalities. Then what is meant by externalities? Externalities refers to the benefits or harm done by human activity which are not paid or penalized. Once again, externalities are the benefits or harm due to the production of a goods which are not paid or penalized. What is the meaning of that? When a firm produces a goods, it benefits the society. Such benefits are called external benefits or positive externality. For example, when a factory is established in an area, the people of that area are benefited in various ways. Some people of that area can get employment. So the poverty in that area can be reduced. There might be other facilities like banking, electricity, water supply, transportation, etc. in that area, right? So, in these ways, a factory or production of a goods benefits the people, benefits others. Such benefits are called positive externalities. These positive externalities increase welfare, right? But these positive externalities are not mentioned in GDP. GDP is only a value. What value? Monetary value. In that monetary value, what are not shown, the positive externalities are not shown. Then negative externalities. When the production of a goods creates harms to other people, disturbances to other people, pains to other people, they are called negative externalities. So negative externalities are the harms created by a firm to others. See, when more and more factories are established, it will create pollution. It will create environment pollution, air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, etc. Such pollutions are not penalized. Understand? So, when GDP of a country increases, on the other side, what is also increasing? Environment pollution is also increasing. When the GDP of a country increases, the air is polluted, water is polluted, land is polluted. As a result, the health of the people is affected. So, on the one side, GDP is increasing. On the other side, the health of the people is affected. Right? So, how can we say that GDP is a good indicator of welfare? The GDP of India is increasing every year. So that we can say that there is economic growth in India. But this economic growth is at the cost of pollution of various rivers. Many rivers in India are polluted. The quality of air in India is poor. Very large number of people are affected by diseases. Right? So that GDP is not a good indicator of welfare. Why GDP is not a good indicator of welfare? Because it does not take into account externalities. It does not take into account positive externalities or negative externalities. Okay. Then another reason for non-acceptability of GDP as an indicator of welfare is change in prices. Change in prices. GDP is affected by prices. Understand? GDP is affected by prices. When prices increase, GDP also increase. Here GDP increased. Why? Because of increase in price only. Real growth means, real welfare means, what must be increased? The production must be increased. The output must be increased. If output is not increasing, but prices are rising, what may increase? GDP may increase. That increase in GDP is not considered as an indicator of economic growth and welfare, right? So GDP is affected by change in prices. So we cannot depend GDP as a real indicator of welfare. Why? Because GDP is affected by change in prices. When prices rise, keeping the production constant, what may rise? GDP may rise. National income may rise. That rise in national income is not a real indicator of economic growth as well as welfare. Understand? So, change in price is a limitation of GDP as an indicator of welfare. Then, another very important limitation of GDP as an indicator of welfare is non-monetary exchanges. Non-monetary exchanges. Non-monetary exchanges. See, GDP only considers the goods and services which are brought in the market. A considerable part of product in a country is not reaching in the market. A large quantity of goods and services is not brought into the market. Before entering the market, such goods and services are exchanged. But such exchanges are not included in GDP. So non-monetary exchanges are the exchanges or transactions that are not measured in terms of money. Once again, what is meant by non-monetary exchanges? The transactions or the exchanges which are not measured in terms of money are called non-monetary exchanges, right? For example, in our house, we are always receiving the services of our mother. We are always receiving. We are always taking the services of mother. The services like cooking, washing, cleaning, caring, etc. They are services. But these services are not entering into the market. If these services enter into the market, what can be done? Pricing can be done. Pricing of services can be done. But pricing of the services done by housewives or mothers cannot be done. But the services of housewives, the services of mothers increase our welfare. But that services are not included in GDP. So that GDP is not a good indicator of welfare, right? In our house we can find that now parents are teaching the students. I mean teaching the children. Parents are helping the children in studying. Thousands and thousands of parents in a country are teaching the children daily at home. That is a service. But that service has no money value. That services are produced inside the country. But that services are not accounted. That services are not estimated or calculated, right? So in this way, a large part of goods and services produced in a country is not estimated. Then how can we say that national income is a good indicator of welfare? As a large quantity of goods and services are not taken into account. Moreover, there is barter system. In villages, in rural economy or in villages, we can find a barter system. Goods are exchanged for goods or payment is done in the form of cash. Sorry, payment is done in the form of kind, in the form of goods. So payment in the form of goods, exchanges in the form of barter are not valued, are not priced, are not accounted. That is a limitation of GDP as an indicator of welfare. A large amount of goods and services that really gives welfare to the people are not included in GDP. Example, services of housewives, services of parents, services of mothers, etc. So these are the major limitations of GDP as an indicator of economic growth and welfare. Okay. So what are the limitations? Firstly, distribution of GDP. GDP does not consider inequality in the distribution of income. If there is inequality in the distribution of income, the rich people can enjoy better standard of life than the poor people. And secondly, the composition of GDP. GDP does not take into account the types of goods produced in the country. The goods can be divided into two, merit goods and demerit goods. If demerit goods are produced more, that does not bring welfare to the people. Demerit goods include weapons, drugs, liquor, cigarettes, etc. So the production of such goods is actually harmful to the people. But when the production of such goods increases, what may increase? GDP may increase. But what may decrease? Welfare may decrease. Understand? So that is the limitation of what? Limitation of GDP as an indicator of welfare. Then externalities. Gross domestic product or national income does not consider externalities. Externalities are the benefits or harms from the production of a good to others. There are two types of externalities. They are positive externalities and negative externalities. If the production of a goods creates benefits to the society, they are called positive externalities. For example, creation of employment opportunities, improvement of infrastructural facilities, etc. If the production of a good creates harms to other people, harms to the society, ruins and pains to the society, they are called negative externalities. For example, pollution, air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, accidents, etc. are negative externalities. Okay. So students, I think you have understood the difference between positive externalities and negative externalities. In GDP, these positive externalities and negative externalities are not shown. GDP might be underestimated or overestimated due to what? Due to the externalities. Okay. Then another limitation of GDP is change in prices. When the prices of goods increase, what may increase? GDP may increase. This is not a real increase in GDP. A real increase in GDP means increase in production. When production of goods and services increases every year, it is called real growth or real welfare. But GDP is affected by prices. When prices rise, what may rise? GDP may rise. So in that case, what is not a good indicator? GDP is not a good indicator of welfare. Okay, GDP is affected by prices. Clear? Then, non-monetary exchanges or transactions. In a country, there are many transactions which enter into markets. So that such transactions cannot be measured in terms of money. They are called non-monetary exchanges. The services of housewives, mothers, parents, etc. are called non-monetary exchanges. They are producing goods and services, but their contribution to the production of goods and services is not priced. Their contribution to the production of goods and services is not measured in terms of money. So that is the limitation of what? Limitation of GDP as an indicator of human welfare. GDP does not take into account the services of housewives, mothers, etc. Clear? Then another limitation of GDP is that of increase in population or growth of population. In less developed countries, the welfare of the people is affected by population. When population of a country increases considerably, what cannot be ensured? Welfare cannot be ensured. When national income increases, what is also increasing? Population is also increasing. So this increase in population may really affect the welfare of the people. When population increases, all people cannot get basic necessities of life. When population increases, all people cannot get food, clothes, shelter, medical facilities, and other types of facilities of life. So increase in population, this increase in population is not taken into account by GDP. So that GDP is not a good indicator of welfare. So students, these are some limitations of GDP as an indicator of welfare. Okay, thank you students.